Hi, everyone. It's Catherine. I hope you had a lovely weekend. I apologize in advance if I sound a little stuffed up. I'm actually dealing with allergies, so it's been a challenge these past few days, especially because it's so hot here in San Diego right now, unseasonably warm. So dealing with all that pollen in the air. So my nose has been raw for the past few days, basically. So I apologize if I start coughing or sneezing in advance. I'll try to keep this brief. um, but it's okay because, nothing can take away from the high that I'm feeling right now, the excitement, the natural high, I should say, um, and the gratitude that I feel. Yesterday, I had my first paid webinar. I've been hosting free webinars for the past maybe 4 or 5 months. Yeah, like 4 months, and which all of my videos are available on my YouTube channel. And yesterday was my first paid webinar, so it was $15. It was called Little Leaps, and it was great. I capped it at 30 registrants, and so I had 30 people who registered for the webinar. I had about 16 that were there live, and the rest, would get the replay anyway. So the people who were not able to attend live will or have already received the replay, so they get the information. But the benefit of the people who were there live was that they were able to ask me questions, and it was a lot of fun. I decided to cap it because it was my first paid webinar, and I don't know, I just, I'm still fairly new to videos and webinars, in the sense, not in terms of the technology, but in the sense of like interacting with people. It's a little different through a webinar. I've done live speaking events and have taught classes live. And when you're live face to face, I'm able to see the reaction of the audience, see face to face, see people's eyes. I can kind of gauge what they're feeling. But with web, can't do that. So you just kind of have to trust that everybody's following along. So I have to keep checking in and everything. So it's a little challenging, more so than live, in my opinion. Um, but it was great. No technical difficulties, no issues. Thankfully, I had people who were interested and engaged and asking questions. And the purpose of the webinar was to teach people. I basically went over the leap of faith that I took, and the complete change that I took and made in my life. Just complete transformation. It was for the better. Something that I was looking to do for such a long time. So I showed people the steps that I took, and I kind of, the purpose of the webinar was to help people break down their huge goals, their big leap of faith. This is something that scares them so much, but at the same time excites them. But they're just not sure how to get from point A to point B. And so what I did was the purpose of the webinar was to help them just break down that huge leap of faith into little leaps of faith, so it's kind of like getting to point B step by step. But it went beyond setting goals and planning, because what I learned is when it comes to like a big leap, no matter how much planning and preparation you do, you will never be ready to take that leap. That's why it's called a leap. And it's such a huge change and transformation that, of course, it's going to scare you naturally. But it's the only way that you will get to that point where you want to go. So I went into more spiritual aspects, and also just help them understand like some things and perspectives of looking at their leap of faith, and just kind of help them assess whether or not it was a true desire, and if that desire was aligned with their purpose. So it was just an awesome event, and I'm so glad that everybody that was present just totally understood where I was coming from, what I had to say, and we just connected on that level. So I just feel super excited. I'm not saying this to brag or anything like that. I'm saying it because I want to share with you my excitement, and I hope that you guys share your excitement with me when it comes to these things. But I just feel like for the first time in my life, I am completely aligned with what I want to do with my passions. These are things that interest me that I mean, I just love helping people and in every way I can. And in every way that I can that interests me as well. You know what I mean? And this is just all that. Excuse me. So all of that to say, I had a little bit of a thought yesterday. Some of the participants were business owners, and they had more specific business questions for me. So I noticed that the trend with the business, excuse me, the business owners was that they were still working a full-time job, which no longer interested them, or a job that they hate, and they wanted to take the leap to quit the job to focus full-time on their business. Excuse me. So I'm a complete rebel when it comes to these things. I'm not one, if you're looking for someone who's going to give you a cautious and well thought out response, then I'm not the one to speak to. If you want to make a decision, I'll give you the crazy answer, and I'll tell you straight up. You have to do the things that scares you, the things that scare you the most, because those are the things when you're at that point when you're thinking about it, it's because you're ready for a change, and the only way you're going to get to that change and that transformation is by taking that leap. So I've done it before where I've quit jobs. I'm not saying it's been all rainbows and sunshine. But through the darkness and the hard times, that's when I really learned, and anyway, I don't want to go too much into it, but it's not something that's for everyone, for sure. It's not something that everyone will handle. There's no cookie cutter way for everyone to handle a problem or anything like that. But I know for sure if it's something that completely excites you and you've been thinking about it for a while, and you're open to receiving the signs and the messages and stuff, and it seems like it's pointing, the message and the road is pointing towards you quitting, then by all means. So those are some of the things that we dabbled in yesterday in our conversation. And one of the things that I has kind of popped up in my head, and I decided I would love to do this as another webinar. Excuse me. So basically, it just kind of intrigues me when people have businesses that to me are invisible and they somehow believe that the business will get to the point where they want it to be or where they see it at, but they're the only ones that know about it. So I'll give you an example. I won't shout anyone out, but someone who was at the webinar yesterday, one of the business owners, some of the questions that they asked had me wondering, did they have a website? Where were they presenting their products and services and offerings? And they had nothing. So I was asking them, well, how do you get people to buy things from you? And kind of like a face-to-face kind of thing. Well, he sells products at a street fair, and he only sells once a week, and so he only sells there at the street fair. So I basically told him, like, okay, well, that's a start, but your client pool at that point are only the people that walk through the street fair, and anyone else that maybe you have told, like friends or family, hey, stop by my table, my booth, and buy stuff from me. That's it. That's their client pool. Now, I'm not saying that's a problem or that's bad, but to me, in my opinion, it's good for someone who's looking to have a little part-time income, something on the side. So if you have a full-time job and you're doing this on the side and you're comfortable with that, that's absolutely fine. This particular person wanted to be a full-time business owner and have the business fully support him. So that's when I kind of asked him, well, how much money are you making? How much money do you spend? What kind of money are you looking to make? What's your vision for this business? And the vision did not match what the current state of the business, because he was not taking the steps to be visible. So it kind of gave me the idea. I wanted to write a blog post about this, and I will, and I will include this video as I also like to kind of talk things out before I write. So I decided, let me make a video. And I'm like, huh, so he has an incredible invisible business. um, because to me, it's just incredible that in this day and age, with social media, with everyone starting up all types of businesses, that you, especially for the vision that you hold for yourself of being a full-time business owner, that you would think that that would be enough, just kind of a word of mouth thing. It's not enough for this day and age. People forget. Um, we're living in a very fast-paced world, fast-paced society. Not only are people starting new things every day, I mean, every minute there's something new. There's a new website, there's a new social media app. Um, and then we as a society are collectively just continuing to assimilate all these new things, and we're, because we're constantly being bombarded with all this information and um, new things that are coming up, it takes us like 2 seconds to just see it and we have to move on, and so this is us. We're just constantly, and we rarely take time to stop. um so as a new business owner, and even an established business owner, if you haven't gotten to that point where you're generating what you're looking to generate, basically you haven't met your goals, then you want to consider being more visible as a business. That doesn't mean you have to be in every single social media website out there. That doesn't mean that you have to have a huge fancy website, but you have to have some kind of footprint within the online virtual world. And that's because you are targeting a wider amount of people, wider reach. Something that I like to think of and say, and this is not something that I came up with myself. This is something that I actually learned a few years back. Whatever goal you want to reach, you have to reach 10 times that goal, or rather, so if you want to have, if you want to have 10 people present at your webinar, then you have to reach 100, you know, um, or if you want to, yeah, that's basically it. I basically, my point is that 10% of your, you're going to attain 10% of what you reach. So, if I reach 100 people, then I am most likely going to get 10 people that are going to be actually interested in purchasing my product or service. Okay. So you have to do way more than what you're looking to reach. Hopefully that makes sense. So if my target were 10 people for this webinar coming up, then I have to reach 100 people, and not just family and friends, 100 random people, strangers, whether through social media or whatever the case is. It could be family and friends as well. I mean, I would even go as far as to say maybe reach 200 people, and that way you can for sure secure 10 at least minimum, but you may be able to get even more than 10 because you're reaching more people. So always go above and beyond the minimum. So with that said, if with the example of the street fair, if you're there, maybe 5 hours, one day a week, and you're getting foot traffic, but not everyone will stop by your booth. So out of the 100 people that go, maybe you only get 10 people that actually stop. And that's not to say that they will actually buy, So out of those people, the 10 people that actually stop, then 10% of that will buy, So there you go. You're not really making enough to say, I will be able to do this full time, So you have to put yourself out there. You have to put your products and services out there. You have to put yourself out there. I'll give you an example. For me, when I first started with this current blog and business in last year, um, I had somebody help me with my social media presence. And I was already familiar with social media on a personal level, but not necessarily for business. So the first thing this person told me was, Catherine, you need to start making YouTube videos. And I was like, oh my God, I am not ready for YouTube videos. I don't want to be a YouTube person. I like just blogging and writing. He's like, no, girl, you have to put yourself out there on YouTube. YouTube is one of the best ways to reach people. People like to see videos. They like something quick, or they like an informative webinar, something that will help them solve a problem or whatnot, and it's true. I follow so many people on YouTube, a lot of tutorials, a lot of things that I learned. And so it got me thinking, but I was still scared. So I started with my first video, which was actually a tutorial for bloggers. And I mean, leading up to that day, I was really scared. And I'm like, oh my God, my first live event. I had maybe 4 people show up live, 2 of which I knew. So it didn't feel so scary, but still. And then to think that other people that I didn't know would be watching that video on YouTube, I was just like, oh my God. So I actually, to make myself more comfortable, I disabled the comments on YouTube. So all of that to say, I did take the step to be more visible and put myself out there. And I did receive the rewards because I have been able to attract a wider audience, a wider reach, and thankfully have been getting more people coming to my blog, my websites, my offerings, to see what I'm about, check me out. And thankfully, I have had people, for example, join my email list and all that stuff. So I still don't feel as comfortable allowing comments on my videos, and you'll notice that, and that's okay for me. That's my compromise. But at least I am putting myself out there. So it may not be YouTube for you. It could be something else, but for sure, whatever it is that you choose, make sure that it works for you in whatever way you make it work. But you have to be visible. You have to put yourself out there. With that being said, I would like to invite you to an upcoming webinar that I'm hosting on the 24th of this month. So that's on a Tuesday. It's next week, next Tuesday, February 24th. I'm going to put the link in the description box. So I have it. It's called Learn the 5 C's for Consistent Cash Flow. So the purpose of this webinar is I want to teach you and break the lesson down in 5 easy steps to help you start generating some income for yourself now. And this applies whether you're looking to turn your business or idea into a full-time business, a part-time business, or maybe you're just a curious entrepreneur and you're just looking to see what would work for you. Whatever the case is, everyone has knowledge that on some level should be and needs to be shared with the world, and someone out there will connect with what you have to say, and you can turn your knowledge into something that will work for you to generate some kind of income. Okay. I want to teach you what has worked for me. I have digital offerings and things that I have created, and I created a nice little system for myself to be able to create consistent cash flow, and I'll show you how. So basically, the 5 C's are: the first one is command. So command their attention. That's commanding the attention of your audience. Learn how to be visible in an authentic and effective way. The second C is connect. So this is connecting with your audience, building trust with your followers and supporters. The third C is convince. This is convince them of your expertise. So doing things like, for example, webinars and videos on YouTube, or offering free ebook download, or whatever the case is. These are things and tools that you do to show them that you know what you're talking about. You know your stuff. The fourth C is communicate. Communication is essential, not just as far as posting and putting things out there through your website or social media, but communicating on a more intimate, personal level with your potential client pool. By this fourth step, you will already have received engagement from people who are genuinely interested in what you have to say. They may not have gotten to the point of purchasing anything, but they, for example, have signed on to your email list. They're consistently commenting on your blog posts. They're consistently contacting you, telling you how awesome you are. Whatever the case is, these are your potential clients. And so it's essential for you to be able to communicate with them effectively. And the fifth C is where you'll be learn how to create digital offerings that you can easily sell on your website. So all of these things, all of these steps. So you know the by the time you get to the fifth step, you'll already taken the first four steps. So, like for example, the first step with command their attention, learning how to be visible. I'm going to show you, for example, ways that you can easily set up a quick little website for yourself, free website. So you need some kind of uh, digital home, online home, somewhere where people can easily go to. Because from there, when you get to the fifth step, which is to create, and this is when you're going to create your digital offering, you'll be able to offer it from that home that you've created for yourself, so your website. And the reason why it's easy, it's because once you've created that and you easily set it up so that people, when people purchase, they get it, and you don't really touch the product. You don't have to ship anything out. It's easy, but it's a way for you to just continue to have streams of income for yourself. So those are the 5 C's that I would like to teach you in this webinar coming up on the 24th. So this is actually going to be my second paid webinar. So there is a fee of $15, but for the wealth of knowledge that you're going to learn, you're going to get more for your money, obviously, because you're going to learn how to create something for yourself. And I'm going to teach you how to do it all free. So it's not something where you have to pay anything. If you want to, that's up to you. But I'm going to show you the free way of doing these things. I'm going to break it down into digestible bits of information, very easy breezy. If you're serious about your knowledge and your passions, and you want to turn your expertise and knowledge into something that can work for you as well as work for your audience, then I invite you to join me on the 24th. It's going to be awesome, and it's going to be live. So if you register and you are able to make it live, then you'll have the advantage of being able to ask me questions, and then I can, talk to you live on the webinar. If you register but you're not able to make it live, it's all good, because you will be able to get the replay. Okay, only the people who register are able to get the replay. So everyone, whether you show up live or you're not able to show up live, everyone who registers will get the replay. And it should send it to you about an hour after the webinar ends, and you'll have unlimited access to view that video. So if you're thinking about it, curious, maybe you want a little bit more information, come check out my website. You can contact me, whatever you'd like, and let me know if you have any questions. But I hope to see you on the 24th. I hope to see you take your invisible business and make it visible and share it with the world, and I hope that you're able to kind of get over that fear and hesitation, because visibility will connect you with your clients to get you the cash. Okay. So anyway, thank you guys again for watching and tuning in, and I will see you again soon. Bye.